The most significant thing that you can do to your site, and the first thing that you should complete, is determining your theme, because the theme is going to determine the overall look of the site. It's sort of the driving force of how it's going to appear. By default, it comes preloaded. If you go to Appearance and Themes, you can see it comes preloaded with 2021 or whatever year you're watching this, 2019 or 2020. Usually it has the last 3 years, and whoever the aficionados of WordPress are, they make a new one every year. Although they did skip 1 year. And they'll make a WordPress theme, and basically they will come pre-installed. So it has to have a theme by default. And it just controls the overall look. It's more than just what you're seeing, like these defaults of it looking like this. It controls the fonts. It controls, a lot of them have different options of, like, they have built-in sliders, or they have, like, the backgrounds can be videos, or they have a bunch of different things that can be applied to it. Really, you're going to have to kind of explore them, and then you'll get a better idea of, like, what they are and how they affect the site. Now, to create to add a new theme, you can click, Appearance, Themes, and then click on Add New. And this will bring you, I don't know if they want to call it the store, I don't know. Basically, it brings you to this area where you can find just themes, right? So here's Featured, you can go to Popular, and you'll just see a whole ton. I mean, there's like hundreds, if not thousands, of themes. There's just a bunch of them, right? Latest, you can have Favorites. You can also do it by filter. You can filter out, like, what options they have. So, like, they have headers and footers, or, they're specifically made for these sort of things. The layouts that they have, all sorts of stuff, okay? Now, what I would suggest doing, instead of trying to find it in here, because this interface is actually kind of slow, is normally what I would do is go online and just type in, like, best free WordPress themes for photographers, or, like, best free WordPress themes for, businesses or dogs, or whatever it is your site's going to be. And then you will find, these articles, and they'll be like, oh, these themes are really great. And they'll kind of outline, like, why they're good and why you should use this one and that one and all that other stuff. You're going to end up with a better result trying to search for them here, and then just look through them, and then you just try to find them. Download them, install them, see how they look, and then if you don't like them, just get a different one. So you're not going to do it now, but when you eventually do your project, that's what you should do. It's just look through a bunch, maybe download a whole bunch of them, and then just try them, and then, decide on one, okay? For ours, what we're going to do is, I already know what it is, and it's actually just Astra. You can see it right here. So if you just type in ASTRA for Astra, there it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit install. And the only reason why I chose this one is not because I think it's, like, the greatest or whatever. I actually don't really have a lot of experience with it. Pretty much none. It's literally because it was the most popular one, so I'm assuming there's a reason for that. Okay, and then after you install it, when you install it, what it's actually doing is it's downloading it. It doesn't actually install it. You have to click Activate, and that is actually going to turn it on and make it apply, okay? And so now you'll see that you have this one. And if you ever want to switch to the other ones, all you got to do is hover over here and hit Activate. So if you download a bunch of them, they'll all show up here, and you just click on Activate, and then that will become the active one, and it will show up here, okay? Now, after you install them, or actually even in the thing, you'll see, like, theme details. If you click on that, it'll give you, like, some explanations of it. Usually there's, it doesn't really show you. Usually there's, like, this is just flipping through them. They'll actually give you, like, more information and, like, documentation and things like that, okay? So, yeah, we're just going to use that theme. I think that's a pretty okay theme. That is in there. Now, depending again on your theme, a lot of them will have they control the other look, but they also have features and stuff. So you can see there's actually this Astra options. Sometimes the themes will actually have things that they add into the menu over here. So just be aware that whatever theme you install, look on the side panel here, or again, go to theme details. They might even have, like, a tutorial or something. Some of them are pretty robust. But you want to explore them and see what all their options and things are. But then the best way to do that, because everything is different, you're just going to have to click around and see what they do, okay? We're going to use this one, like I said, just because I know it's robust. All right, so we're going to call that my theme, and I'm just going to middle click on this. which will just bring up. Middle click will opens up when you click, instead of going to like whatever the link is, it will open it up in a new tab. I don't know if you knew that. So this is what it looks like by default. That doesn't really look too much different, but that's where it is. Okay. So the other thing I want to do is, this will be my theme. This is going to control the overall look, and it does usually hold some sort of features as well, like little functional things. The other thing I want to do is I just want to add some plugins. So I'm going to go to plugins. This is probably the next biggest thing that you would, install. Now, normally what you want to do is you get a theme and you kind of stick with that theme. Once you've decided on one, you don't usually want to switch the theme because anything you've done in it won't transfer really. With the plugins, you can always install plugins as you're going. Like, oh, now I need this, and just find them, because they're just adding features. They're not changing the overall way that your site functions. So anyways, I'm going to go plugins, add new, and just like themes, there are like hundreds, if not thousands, of plugins, and they do all sorts of different things. What I would suggest is, again, if you're like, oh, I want my site to be able to do something, just search on Google and see if like, search on Google and see if there's like a plugin that does the thing that you want. Okay. Just like search like, WordPress plugin. Now just be aware, both the themes and the plugins, they come in two flavors. There's paid and unpaid. The themes, for the most part, the free ones, at least if it's a good theme, usually they'll have a free version and then the paid version, which will unlock a bunch of different features. Some of the plugins cost money. Most of them actually do not, from what I saw. Most of the themes do cost money, but usually they have like a free version. So just be aware of that as well. I'm just going to install basically two plugins here. So the first one I'm going to install is just going to be Elementor. All right, so just type in Elementor like that. And that's this here. And then just click on install. Now, the reason we're going to use this one, we're actually not going to use either one of these plugins today. But the reason why I'm using this is because it actually is a web builder, which means that basically, instead of building it in the traditional way, which is what we're going to do today, we're going to use the Gutenberg editor. It'll allow us in the next class to build it on the front end, which will be a little bit easier to work with. And I just want you to see that you can use it. I'm not going to click activate yet, because if I click activate, it's going to exit me out of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and search for my next one, which is duplicate post. And then we can see Yoast duplicate post. Now, if you remember, a post, we're going to use this basically just so we can duplicate our pages. So I can make one of my web pages, and instead of having to start from scratch, I can just take that same page, duplicate it, and then start working from that one. It's just a little bit easier. And that's all it does. It literally just adds a clone button. You can just click on it and it duplicates it. It's really kind of simple. I'm going to click activate on this. We're only going to do the two there. And then it'll automatically bring in here, and then you can see Elementor is not active. So I'm just going to go ahead and activate that. Give it a second. So if you want, you can go through and we're not going to use this yet anyway, but I'm just going to close out of that. Elementor is a pretty robust plugin. Automatically brought me. So you see, like, it added its own, like Yoast added something, and then Astra added something, and now this added something. Because these are the latest and greatest things, because we're in the dashboard. But you can see Elementor added its own menu set here, because it's a pretty big one. It also added templates, which is another thing that was part of, or maybe that's part of the, no, I think that's part of the Elementor. Things like that, okay? So those are now installed. Like I said, we're not going to use those this week. I just want to show you that that's normally the first things you'd want to do is install your plugins and your theme first and then plugins. But again, you can install plugins as you go. In the future, if you ever are making a site that you're putting on the internet, I would suggest is paying for the premium theme. Like, just get the good theme, pay the extra money. Your site will look a lot better. It'll be more professional. You'll get service and stuff in case something goes wrong. It'll be less likely to be like other people's, things like that. Okay, so just be aware you want to do this. So for instance, like my website, my theme I think costs like about $200. So most of them aren't that much. That's like the most expensive one. But just be aware that it's worth it to just do that, because if you're going to be using it, you might as well do it, right? So. Okay, so we'll call that good as far as our themes and our plugins are installed, at least a good starting spot.